where horror lies.
Rob from Georgia here with you, aka VHS82 apostrophe here at BodyBags. I'm your regular Wednesday evening host here at week 478. We're in the thick of December, heading towards Christmas pretty quickly. Hope all is well with you and your family as you guys get ready for the holidays as they quickly descend on us. Interesting. Christmas, Bloody Christmas. This was a happy, accidental fall into sort of, I didn't even know this movie existed. I was surfing my Shudder online thing, right? Shudder. And I see the thing, Bloody Christmas, or Christmas, Bloody Christmas. And I'm just like, I don't know, that looks stupid. And so I was, but then I clicked on it and boom, my eyes just went out of their sockets. Joe Begos film. I'm like, okay. Things like The Mind's Eye, of course, VFW, which this is the music that you're hearing. But my favorite of his, man, I just absolutely love this, man. Almost Human. This is one of the greatest sci-fi horror films ever seen, man. It is just great. Love Joe Begos, man. And this movie does not disappoint. This is a weird movie. Not weird. This is sort of riding the coattails of things like Terminator, things like Silent Night, Deadly Night, things like Hardware. Are you intrigued? You ought to be, man, because this is a film shot in 16 millimeter, and it's a film that is heavily, I think, impressed with the work of Rob Zombie. It is got quite an impressive cast, headed by Riley Dandy, who is our who plays Tori, our final girl, and Robbie, her hookup in here, who doesn't last too long, Sam Delich. But you got Jonah Ray here, but you got Jeff Daniel Phillips in this thing, man, as the sheriff. Joe Begos has a character in here. Joth Ethier, who's always in his movies, seems like. An RLJE film, Channel 83, of course, produced it, and this is, of course, currently on Shudder. And it is worth the watch from 2022, a 22 film. This girl, Riley Dandy, I don't know who she is. This girl, man, she reminded me of the main girl there. I'm gonna butcher her name. You ready? You're gonna laugh, especially if you know who this girl is. Dre Day Mateo. The lead, one of the lead girls from the Assault on Precinct 13 remake with Ethan Hawke, right? But she reminded me of her. She reminded me of a little bit of Scout Taylor Compton and a little bit of Linda Hamilton. She had all this vibe going on. And let me just say, the last 25 minutes of this film, whatever you think about the first 20 and maybe the middle, that last 25 minutes is fun. It is a fun ride. But I love all the interaction between Tori and Robbie. It's either Christmas Eve or it's right there. I think she basically owns a record store, and Robbie works for her. They're friends who are just a couple stores down. It's a toy store. They have this Robo Santa Plus. This is a military grade weapon. This is why I think of Hardware. But apparently there was recall issues, or maybe it just wasn't, it had outlived its usefulness or something in the military. I don't know, something. So anyways, they found civilian application in the form of dressing them up like Santa Clauses. The problem is there's a recall that goes into effect, and some of these Santas apparently, well, these military grade weapons decide to snap and resume what they were initially programmed to do, and that is slaughter. So, like, it's a Santa Claus, right? But this is not Silent Night, Deadly Night, or any film where, excuse me, where you have somebody who has some serious mental baggage going on, who is literally carrying that Santa Claus exterior. This is a robot machine, like a Terminator or a piece of, or like Richard Stanley's Hardware. that just happens to have the Santa Claus thing over it. And that, you know, and so it's not really, I mean, it is Christmas though, man. The vibe is pretty heavy in this, man. You got snow falling in this movie like I haven't seen since I lived in Buffalo, New York. Amazing. I was gonna say, no, near Buffalo, right? Western New York, where it really snows. Doesn't do that here in Georgia. Again, shot in 16 millimeter, grainy feel. Just an interesting aesthetics. Interesting. It really does sort of suck you in. I don't know if we needed 982 F-bombs, but these are the characters that were written in, and it just, I don't know, sometimes it comes across really supernatural, and then other times it's just sort of, I don't know anyone that talks like that. But anyways, this was a fun ride, man. I mean, really fun. I mean, when it finally gets down to basically Tori taking on this piece of hardware, this military grade weapon, and you know what? It doesn't matter, man. The thing decides its mission requirements is to take her out, apparently, and it doesn't matter why. I mean, don't think about stuff like this. It is what it is, man. He just eyes her and just probably decides. Maybe as a machine, he senses. I would say that my internal guess would be as a sort of something in between a Terminator and a hardware piece of military, you know, Mark 13 grade weapon. It can size people up pretty quick, and maybe it sees in her a challenge. Makes about as much sense as anything makes sense. You know, so I mean, like anything, sometimes you just kind of take it for what it is and just enjoy the ride of it. This movie, I'm telling you, the last 25 minutes. Now, some of the kill scenes were a bit extreme in the sense of believability, but then again, this is a heavy grade piece of hardware that has the power of utilizing weapons in a way that obviously a human person can't do. It is still, there's one or two where he comes up behind and he literally goes up behind and brings his axe down. It literally splits the person almost in half. And he's like, and you think to yourself, can that really happen? I guess, maybe, I don't know. Never seen it happen in real life, thankfully, but it's just, and then there are other times, man, where it's like, wow. It's the brutality of it, man. It's just this thing, and he does divert off. Like he knows where he's going, but then he decides, because the house is like, Tori's house is here, and there's another house here covered in Christmas lights. He just decides, you know what? Appetizer here, main course here, and so he just goes in, and it's just full of salt, man. And you know, shortly thereafter, eventually it'll become. I love Jeff Daniel Phillips in this, man. He was awesome. He was awesome to watch. He got taken out of this film way too early, I thought. I wish he would have gone further to the end. It did have a lot of Terminator feel. But then for me, though, the music, the score, at times really, it had a hardware vibe. This movie is Silent Night, Deadly Night, caught between the worlds of Terminator and hardware is the best way for me to sum it up. But it's a Joe Begos film, and this movie was stinking fun, man. It's sitting on Shudder right now. I would imagine, since it's an RLJE Films, this eventually has got to end up on the Walmart shelf, doesn't it? I mean, it's got to. Dang, this was, like I said, the composer did Gutterballs. Some of you may know that, and VW, of course. Steve Moore is his name. And Riley, I loved Riley's character. Tori, so old school, man. In terms of the music she listens to, you know, for her, the only Christmas movie is Black Christmas, right? Which is great. I watched that last night. Motorhead, man, is you know, she cracks jokes on Blumhouse, which is so funny. It's awesome. But she's just got this old school natured personality about her that is just absolutely hilarious to listen to. In a good way. It's fun. It's really, like, I can appreciate it. Being a little too probably old school myself. it was neat listening and seeing that like that. The guy who played the Santa is pretty good, I guess. It's, I mean, you're not dealing with a real person, right? And the one thing missing in here, like what you get with Hardware and what you get with Terminator, is you really get the machine's perspective and how they see the world. You really don't get that with this, and that's probably money, and a type of high-level computer animation that maybe, I don't know, they just weren't, maybe they weren't even interested in doing it. But that's the only thing really missing in here, really, I think, between those two. Obviously, Hardware is a superior film. That is just an awesome, awesome film. And Terminator, you know. But if you need a holiday fun, just a fun sleigh ride, man, you can do worse, man, than jumping on Shudder and checking this out if you haven't seen it yet. So, yeah, week 478, getting close to Christmas time. I'm so stinking glad that I watched this movie twice now. Actually, I watched it again last night, right after Black Christmas. I went back into my Shudder account and I watched this again. And look, I don't watch things in the middle of the night very much anymore. I just don't have the wherewithal to do that. But I didn't have any problem doing it last night. Yeah, it was fun, man. Fun ride. So, Christmas, Bloody Christmas. Fun ride if you haven't seen it. We are heading to Christmas, so all my wishes to each and every single one of you. Thank you for the support. Thank you for all that you guys bring each and every week. As we dump these things on, you guys watch, and we appreciate it. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Yeah, look forward to, I think next week is Theme Week, Absence of Color, where we take a film and we view that film in black and white, and then we comment on the aesthetics of that and compare and contrast of all that wonderful things. I thought I knew what I was doing, and now I'm sort of having doubts. I don't know. I'm between two films. I don't know. But anyways, my Bulldogs are getting ready to defend their national championship by playing Ohio State in a playoff game here in a couple weeks. The Bills are, I don't know, they're just winning. They're just winning. So who knows? Is this year I get a Georgia national championship and a Buffalo Bills Super Bowl? We'll have to see. But as always, we leave these things off with Go Bills.
This is not a dream. Not a dream.